Hello everyone, welcome to a tutorial kind of video. Now, if you see my previous videos before, you might, probably don't though, want to know what I use for my recorder. I use OBS. And for people who are very new to recording might not know how to use OBS or screen recorders. Now the reason why I choose OBS is because it's completely free and you can record high quality videos. I will have the link to it in the description. But for the people who have never used it before, I will be showing you how to use it. And say your video quality is not that good, or you're getting half a frame a second, I will be showing you what settings to use if your computer is not that good. So the first thing you're going to do is obviously download it. Once you have it downloaded, the link's in the description, you will want to open it up like any other application. Now, for people that know how to use this, you know exactly what this is. But for you people who don't know what OBS is or don't know how to use screen recorders, this might freak you out a little bit. Especially considering that without this, you would just be seeing a black screen. And when you open up your game, you would probably be wondering, why is my recorder not showing me my game? Now, there could be a few reasons for this. The first one is obviously you're going to actually have to link your screen to the recorder, which is really, really simple. All you're going to have to do is hit the plus button, and you have all these options. Now, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to show files, you would click browser, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm not about showing my files. I'm about showing the video games for people who want to try and record them playing games like Minecraft or racing games like Forza or something like that. If you want to do that, you would go to Game Capture. You would click on this, and this here, you could just ignore this for now. We're just showing the basics. When you hit OK, it'll bring you this, which, again, if you've never seen this before, this might be a little scary for you. Thankfully, if we're just showing the basics, if you just want to show your screen, all of this here is completely useless. All you're going to want to do is look at this, the mode. Now, you could capture any full screen application, which is perfectly fine. But if you are that person that wants to make absolute sure that their video game is on that screen and nothing else is, all you're going to have to click is capture specific window and click on window and select your game. If you're going to select, say, Forza Horizon, it would probably just say Forza Horizon here, but the game has to be opened for it to be visible in here. So if your game's not open, it's not showing up, don't be confused. You're going to have to open up your game for it to work. So now that we got that out of the way, what if you wanted to record with, say, a webcam? Well, you would choose a different option, simply. You would hit the plus button and the video capture device. You click on this, again, you ignore all this for now, and boom. Just like that, you have a video capture device, your webcam, on the window. Now you might think that this here, you might be able to mess with this a little bit, which you can. Now there's the configure video, which it's basically like Adobe Illustrator. No, sorry, like that one Adobe program that you can use to mess with everything. You can mess with the brightness, make it super bright, super dark, super creepy. You can mess with the contrast. I don't know why I'd mess with it too much though. You can mess with all this stuff. I'm not gonna tell you how to mess with this stuff because you can just experiment with it, and yeah. So I will close this now. And now on to the important stuff. So what happens when you do have all of your things up, when your game is displaying? Well, you will go to File, Settings, or you could just straight up go to and click on Settings. That'll do the exact same thing for you. And the first thing you're going to do is go to Video. Now, these are the settings I use. Because if you use the right encoder, then you're not going to have that much of a problem. Like, I only have a GTX 1050, which isn't that good of a graphics card, yet I can still process games at 60 FPS, Lanco's sharpening, which you're not actually, if you're going to play at the same resolution as your monitor, this downscale filter isn't really going to be that important. You can keep it at the low level if you want to. It's only if you're downscaling from your monitor resolution to something else. So say like if I had an option to mess with this, my monitor was for some reason 4K, but I wanted to record a video at 1080, then this here would play a key in messing with it. But I keep it at the highest level just in case. And audio, that's all just what you want to mess with. The only thing I mess with is the devices, obviously. So first off, you can hear what I'm saying. Rest in peace, USB headphones. I'll miss you forever. And obviously the microphone, which I use a Blue Yeti stereo. Now setting this kind of stuff up so your OBS reads it, that's all on your own, because it took me a while to get the mic set up, and I don't even remember how I did it. Now the output is really, really important, because this here is what's going to determine if your video plays at half a frame a second or 60 frames per second. Now obviously I can't mess with this because I'm recording, but when you're not recording, you can mess with it. And the thing you want to pay the most amount of attention to is the encoder. Because the encoder, when it comes to OBS, you have to be using the same device to be able to record. That's why I'm using software so I can record my screen. I actually usually record with NVENC. You're going to see 4 encoders. There's going to be low CPU usage software. There's going to be NVENC, and there's going to be another hardware one. I would say you should use NVENC if your computer is not a god computer, or if you don't have a god CPU, which I do not, unfortunately. So, say you want to record a game like Minecraft, and you have your hardware set up to it. Like your Minecraft is using your GTX 2080 Ti. Or RTX 2080 Ti, sorry. You would use the encoder, and you would make it use the hardware. Now, sometimes you're going to be given an error. If you try and record it, it's going to say like the encoder isn't compatible. If you have a NVIDIA graphics card, that's really simple to fix. You just go to the NVIDIA graphics card panel, and you just change the device that OBS uses to NVIDIA. Its default is the integrated, so you're going to have to change that. Now, if you want to use software, it's going to have to use in the integrated, but so is the game that you're going to record, and vice versa. Now, if this is all complicated for you, just go on someone else's YouTube video, because I don't know how to explain it better. So this is the basics of it. Select your encoder, change the video quality so that it works for your computer. Sometimes we're going to have to lower the quality quite a bit so your computer doesn't blow up and your quality of the video isn't at half a frame a second. On my previous computer that didn't even have a functioning GPU in it, I was able to record a video at 720 30 FPS bilinear. But say you do have a functioning GPU, what should you use? Here's what I use for my videos, because my computer is not a god computer. My computer isn't actually all that great, but I can still make do with it. So, and the hardware, I would use high quality, medium file size, MP4 hardware NVENC. That's what I would use. So you're going to go to your NVIDIA graphics panel, change the device that OBS uses to the GPU or the graphics card. You cannot use the CPU or the integrated whatsoever. If it says integrated, it's not going to work with the hardware. So once you got that all done, you're going to go to video, and by that point you can use this. As long as your computer isn't worse than a 1050, you can use this. Now on to another important thing that I haven't gotten to at all. The recording path. You're going to have to change your file. You're going to have to make a recording path to a file that has a lot of space, to a drive that has a lot of space, because if you want to record videos at this kind of quality here, it's going to take a lot of memory. I'm saying an hour video might take up to 20 to 30 gigs. So you're going to have a drive that has a lot of memory. I have a 2 terabyte external hard drive, so I'm kind of set, but you might not be. which means that you may have to record one video at a time, which means you're going to have to know where your videos are. But that's really about it for the video recording. Now we can go to streaming. Streaming is a little bit more advanced. Say you want to stream on YouTube or Twitch. You're going to have to change that a little bit. If I were you, I would not turn this on. Advanced encoder settings is not that important. I just turn it on because I want to. So what is the first things you're going to want to do? The first thing is you're going to make your encoder the same encoder that your recording software uses. Mine's not the same just because I set this up so I can record my screen because I don't plan on streaming this at all. But if I did use that, I would want to use this as well. Because if you don't, it can make your computer more performance impacted by it. Video bitrate, the higher the bitrate, or byte rate, I don't know how to say it, the more performance it's going to need. The lowest I'd go though is 2500. And the audio bitrate, don't know how to say it still, I would just simply keep that 160. That's not that important. As long as your audio is audible and it doesn't sound like absolute crap, you should be good to go. But then you have this. The stream key. Which I'm going to show it real quickly. No, I'm not going to show you that. Now this is where things get a little bit more harder for your streaming stuff if you're very new to this. The service obviously depends on what platform you're using. I use YouTube. You could use Twitch. You could use all this stuff. Just click on what you stream on. If you stream on Facebook, click on Facebook Live. YouTube, YouTube/YouTube Gaming. Twitch, Twitch. It's that simple. And you would obviously go to server and choose the one front that is related to this one here, such as YouTube. And now this is where you're going to have to go to your actual website or device that you are streaming on. So like you go to YouTube, you go to your streaming options, you copy the stream key and you put it in here. It's that simple. Once you're done with that, you might want to, if you don't have a God computer, I would suggest you change this, because unlike recording, streaming will take a lot more performance out. I typically stream at either 720 as my output and 48 FPS as my common FPS value, and my downscale filter, I would usually put it in between bilinear and the one right after that. So I would usually use one of those two. So that is actually how I use my OBS. That's how I stream, that's how I record. If this helped you, then yay, I actually helped someone out. If it didn't, go to YouTube and search up some more detailed explanations as to how to use OBS, because other than that, I cannot help you. This is my tutorial on how to use OBS. The very basics of it. Obviously, OBS goes into a lot more details, but this is really only for people who actually really know how to use it. For people who are trying to make like studio films. That's what this is for. If you're trying to make a gaming channel, you're not really gonna need to mess with any of this. I mean, this here could actually mess with your performance quite a bit. Like when I'm not recording this here while open, I would just simply keep it at this if your computer is not that good. If your computer's not that good, this will be the best option for you. Because partial, there's many options for that. There's one option known as RGB. Well, really, any option that's not partial will cause your computer to need a lot more performance to run it. So, that is about all there is for the absolute basics for, say, a gaming channel. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial video. It's not that short, but hopefully it does tell you a little bit on how to use OBS. In case you don't know, back when I first started telling people that I use OBS, like when I first started a channel, a bunch of people were asking me, how do I use OBS? I mean, I don't get asked anymore. So, this video might be useless. But anyways, enough. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you. I'll see you fellas later. Have a nice day. And get to recording, because I want to steal your content. I'm just kidding. I don't want to steal your content.